So guys, now let's start about nested for loops in Python, and we will understand these nested for loops with a line by line execution. So this is our nested for loops. So this is a whole outer for loop, and in that outer for loop we have used a inner for loop. So that's what a nested for loops are. So whenever we use a one more loop inside in a loop, we call them the nested loops, and this is a nested for loop. So here I have declared a variable counter, and with every iteration of our outer for loop, we are changing the value of this particular counter variable, and then we are printing with every iteration of our outer for loop this statement, this f string, and in this f string I have used this counter variable, and then we will run our inner for loop with every iteration of our outer for loop. So let's start with the line by line execution now. So we have created this variable counter with the first line of execution, and look at very carefully this memory also, that how does memory behaves in a nested for loop. As with an understanding of a proper memory management, you will have a very good clarity about these nested for loops. So now we are going inside in our outer for loop. So with the execution of our first line, this variable I is referring to the first item of this particular list. Now we have changed the value of this counter variable from 0 to 1. Now we are printing this line, that outer for loop iteration 1, as the counter variable value was 1, so we got this one from there. Now we are going inside in a for loop, and this is the first iteration of our outer for loop. So in this first iteration of our outer for loop, this I value will remain 1. So whenever we will refer this I with our first iteration of our outer for loop, it will remain 1. Now let's execute this. So now with the first iteration of our inner loop, now this j value has become to 2. Now we are printing the value I and j, and in the memory now I value is 1, which we got from our outer loop first iteration, and j value we got 2, which we got the first iteration of our inner loop. So let's print it out. So we got 1 and 2. Now we have gone for the second iteration of our inner loop. So in a second iteration, after execution of this line, the j value will change from 2 to 4, right? Now j value has changed in the memory 2 to 4, but I value remained 1, which we got from there, and you can check that over here also. So with this line of execution, now we got this statement 1 and 4. Now let me go bit up. Now we have completed all the iteration of our inner loop. So we have exited out from our inner loop. We have gone back for the second iteration of our inner loop, and look at very carefully what will happen when we execute this line. Now this I value will change to the second item of this particular list. Now again we are changing the value of this counter. Now this counter value has become 2. Now we are printed out again outer loop iteration 2. Now again we will run this inner loop, and in this inner loop, now with the first iteration of our inner loop, the j value has become 2, and I value in the second iteration is 3, right? So we will print what? 3 and 2, because that's what that was in the memory. Now we have gone for the second iteration of our inner loop. Now j value becomes 4, from 2 to 4. So now j value is 4, whereas I value remained 3 in a second iteration. So again we have put 3 and 4. Now we have completed all the iteration of our inner for loop. So now we have gone back for our third iteration for our outer loop. So in a third iteration, what will happen? Now this I value will become 5, right? Now I value has become 5. Again we have added counter to 1. So now counter. So again it printed out this if statement. So now I hope you have getting a full understanding. So now let me complete with a single command the whole execution. This is how it happens. So I hope this gives you a clarity how does nested for loops work. So if you have learned something new, please give us a thumbs up, and please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And in the next video we understand again few very important concepts, that how does break and continue keywords works in a nested for loop. But before watching that video, I hope you have already a good clarity how does break and continue keyword works in a single loops. If not, then please check my that video out, and I have given a link in the video description, as well as you can see on the topmost right hand corner there is a icon. You can click that icon. Over there also you can find those videos, and then we will understand in the next video about for else statement also in a for loop. So thanks a lot guys for watching these videos, and please continue watching as there will be every week new video releases. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.